Today, we're going to build a toolkit, not for fixing your car, but for navigating the world we live in right now. We're talking about critical thinking. Honestly, it's probably the most essential skill you can have for sorting out what's real from what's not in our, well, kind of crazy, information-packed lives. So let's just dive right in and look at the challenge we're all up against.
You ever feel like your brain is a web browser with like 100 tabs open at once? Yeah, you are not alone. We are just getting hit from all sides with news, updates, opinions, data. It's constant, and it's really easy to feel like you're just, completely drowning in it all.
And that brings us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? When you're just scrolling through your feed, how do you actually figure out what's legit and what's not? Because let's be real, the information flying at us isn't always trying to help.
I mean, first, we've got to deal with straight-up misinformation. We're talking about stories that are built from the ground up to look and feel like real journalism, but they're not. They're designed to fool you, to get a reaction, or just to get you to click. And then there's the tech angle. You've got automated accounts, bots, that can scream a fake message so loudly it starts to sound like a real groundswell of opinion. And now, with AI, images and even videos can be tweaked so perfectly that you literally can't trust your own eyes. The scale of this stuff, it's something totally new.
And what about the gray areas? The stuff that's not exactly fake, but it's not exactly unbiased either. Things like sponsored content are designed to blend in, to look just like a regular article, blurring that line between a real story and a company's ad. But you know what? The biggest hurdle might not even be out there. It might be right inside our own heads. We all have biases. They're like mental shortcuts that make us automatically accept info that confirms what we already believe, and just as quickly reject anything that challenges us. It's why a story that makes our favorite political party look good feels so true, right? So, okay, how in the world do we fight back against all this chaos? Well, the answer is we have to get more disciplined in how we process everything. And that, right there, is the core of critical thinking. It's a system for managing the flood. Okay, I know that is a serious mouthful, but let's just break it down. That definition comes from a big study of experts. The words that really matter here are disciplined, actively, and skillfully. This isn't about just letting information wash over you. No, it's about actively grabbing it, taking it apart, and really understanding how it works.
And this quote, this one really gets to the heart of it. Critical thinking flips the whole goal upside down. See, the point isn't just to end up with the right belief. The point is to make sure the process you use to get there, the how and the why, is actually solid, logical, and built on good evidence. And this is the magic trick right here. It's called metacognition. You're basically stepping outside of your own brain for a second to look at how it's working. You ask yourself, am I making assumptions here? Is my anger about this topic clouding my judgment? You become the pilot of your own thoughts, instead of just being a passenger along for the ride.
So how do we actually do that? To get good at thinking about our own thinking, we need the right set of tools. Let's open up the cognitive toolkit and see what's inside.
According to the experts, it really boils down to these 6 fundamental skills. Think of it like a detective solving a case. First, you have to understand the basic facts. That's interpretation. Then you look closely at all the evidence. That's analysis. You decide if the witnesses are reliable. That's evaluation. Then you form a theory, inference. You present your case to the jury, explanation. And finally, you double-check your work for any personal blind spots. That's self-regulation.
So let's zoom in on analysis for a second. This is where you really put on your detective hat. You're not just reading the words on the page, you're looking for the hidden structure of the argument. What are they really trying to say? What proof are they offering? And do all the pieces actually fit together or not?
And then you've got evaluation. This is your quality control step. It's like when you read reviews for a product online. You don't just see 5 stars and click buy. You ask, wait, who wrote this review? Do they sound like a real person? It's the same thing here. You have to ask, is this source trustworthy? Is the evidence they're presenting actually strong, or is it kind of flimsy? This is where you decide if an argument really holds water.
But here's the thing, having the best tools in the world won't help you one bit if you never actually take them out of the box. The skills are absolutely crucial, but they have to be powered by a certain mindset, a willingness to actually use them.
A real critical thinker is just curious. They're actually open to ideas that are different from their own. They have the guts to be honest with themselves about their own biases. And maybe most importantly, they have the courage to change their minds when the evidence points in a new direction. It's about trusting the process.
All right, so enough theory. What does this actually look like in practice? When you're just scrolling on your phone and a crazy headline pops up.
And here it is, plain and simple. The uncritical way is pure gut reaction. You see a headline, it makes you angry or excited, it confirms what you already thought, and boom, you hit share. The critical approach, though, is about one simple action. You pause, you stop, you pull out that toolkit, and you start asking those detective questions. Who made this? Where are they getting their info? What are they trying to achieve here? You engage your brain before you engage your fingers.
Look, at the end of the day, in a world of information overload and now convincing AI, this ability to think critically isn't just some nice little academic exercise. It's a full-on survival skill.
And the best part is, you can get better at it. You can start today. The next time you read something, ask one more question than you normally would. Take just a second to think about your own gut reaction. Go out and actually listen to someone you disagree with. But most of all, just slow down. Give your brain a little space to do its job.
I just love this quote. It's from the guy who basically created the modern Toyota manufacturing system. And it's such a great reminder that the real work, the most valuable thing we can do, is think. That's what actually leads to better ideas and smarter choices.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. As technology gets better and better at creating fakes that look completely real, the value of our snap judgments, our unthinking gut reactions, well, it pretty much drops to zero. The only thoughts that will have any real value are the ones we've chosen to slow down for, to question, and to build on a solid foundation of reason.